we're almost at the end, so I'm just going to look through and ask a couple of questions. Rusty wants to know, how are they exported or imported into Zoho? Actually, most groups, it depends on how you created groups. If you created groups just like by using a field, like you just say, I want to add them to my breakfast group. On the conversion, we create a field that marks it, and it says breakfast group, whatever the name of the group was, so that you can always go back and look up those same people. But you could also create them with criteria. So basically, you're just doing queries, so it's pretty easy. Does Zoho import vCards better than ACT? Well, I have to say no. They are not importing vCards, but however, anything I put in my Google or Outlook, you can automatically sync so that they stay up to date. So it could be that you can handle it that way. Zoho does interface with QuickBooks. It doesn't. It's okay. I'd want to talk to you about what you're expecting with QuickBooks there, but it does interface with QuickBooks. In fact, it has a link that's default to say add this person to QuickBooks or don't add this person to QuickBooks. So we could talk. The emails link with any POP3 account. If you're using, of course, Outlook or Gmail, that's automatic. But if you just have a POP3 like through Thunderbird or something like that, or anyway, Firefox, or you just have to put in POP, or it will do IMAP as well. But at this point, Zoho is not an IMAP thing, but it will bring over the emails so that you can auto attach or record when you're sending them out. And he said he's not using Mac Outlook anymore. I so agree. Outlook was just killing me on how long it took to load up. So we moved away from Outlook as well. I do sync my Gmail to Outlook so I can see it, but normally I don't use it. You can download reports to Excel for data manipulation. Let me just, I didn't show you. I'm just going to pull this over so you can see it live. Here is data right here. So if I want to look at my leads, there's just a little button over here that says Sheet View, and I can click on that, and it automatically opens up the list just like it would in Excel. And if you want to save it in Excel, you just say Export As, and you can change it to Excel. Or you can just save it and use it here because it has almost exactly the same features as Excel. But some people are used to working Excel, so they prefer not to learn a new product. Bob asks, on workflow, can we have automated email and letter follow-up? You can have automated email. I don't think we can do letters where it's actually sending out letters, but you definitely can do automated email very easily. That's actually one of the really nice features. You can automate the email to your client as well as to yourself, letting you know that it was sent. So you've got it in both ways. Is Zoho compatible with QuoteWorks? The answer is technically yes. You can. QuoteWorks, of course, is still a on-premise solution, but they have a link to Zoho. So if you want to be doing that, you can. And of course, all in QuoteWorks, you can save it as a PDF when you actually create the quote. So when you come back in, you can actually see the PDF on the smaller devices. So that's kind of nice. But there are also some other quoting options as well, Bob, if you are interested in changing. Are there any major disadvantages to Zoho? Thanks, Pat. I would say no. The calendar is not my favorite thing. If I go to look at my calendar for today, the calendar is not my favorite thing. It has a couple of visual things that I'm thinking they're working on correcting. For instance, see this appointment that I have with Helen there. It displays at 10 o'clock. But in reality, you can see her appointment was at 10:30. So you have to I have to be more careful about reading some of these things. But I would say, other than that, that's to me is the only disadvantage. I have no other things that I have a problem with on Zoho. Everything else works so much better and so much faster. Is there a way of using Zoho on a laptop without internet connection, like while traveling? And the answer is, on the laptop, probably not. If you, however, well, yeah, I guess they have an app for Chrome and iOS, so you could actually do it on your phone. You could download the app on your phone or on your tablet, any tablet. I have it on my Chromebook. And you can see it while you're traveling, because I understand what you want to do, and sometimes I want to keep offline access as well. Can this be coupled with other enterprise software? You know, the answer to that is kind of nebulous. Who knows? It has a ton of apps, and what I would say is go do this. Go to Gmail and go put in the name of the enterprise software, and then put, like I have 2 clients this week were asking about HubSpot, let's say. So I just say HubSpot, integrate, Zoho. And once you do that, it'll tell you, yes, here is this option, here is this option, here is this option. And that's really the best, because it's, you know, is it going to integrate with everything? You know, probably not, but it may integrate with a ton of what you're looking to do. In the history, well, if I look at history, so let me go back. So here's my recent thing. Well, I could look up. Here's my lease. I would click look up Lance Park. I have a lead, I have a contact, and I have some potential. So I'm just going to look at this lead right here, Lance Parker. So it looks like this. He's marked in my leads area. So I'm going to scroll. These would be pieces of information about him where I've marked he's interested in Zoho. I'm actively pursuing him, but I've talked with him and I have to contact him in the future. So I've got some things. I can scroll, and I can keep multiple notes here about what's doing. Here are the emails that we have had back and forth. This is a follow-up. This would be like the activities tab. This would be like the history tab here. I could have attachments. There was a attachment that I sent to him. And I integrate ours with, there's an optional program called Support where you can do support tickets. And I see he's got 2 open. Here's a closed ticket, and it tells me a little bit about the ticket. And then I can read an open ticket and see more about things that are on with that ticket. So I can see that as well. So that's it's pretty easy. You're just scrolling. If I don't want to scroll, I've got this little collapse button, so I can go straight to the notes and histories if I don't need to see the fields. So it's actually worked pretty well. I think I already said it. Yeah, it does interface with QuickBooks. Is it LinkedIn friendly? The answer is it used to. LinkedIn changed their stuff recently, so it's not as LinkedIn friendly as it used to be. It's Facebook and Twitter. But what I did, and it depends again on the version, I just added a LinkedIn search over here at the right. That it's kind of like getting around the LinkedIn search. I think his company name, I put it in too fast. Okay, so that's his name right there, the guy that I'm talking with. So the answer is yes, we can get around that, but it is not built in anymore because of how LinkedIn changed some stuff. You can manipulate the page. For instance, I have rearranged the page. I don't like the default view, and I've added some fields. Some of these fields are my fields, not what comes with ACT. For instance, I keep track of user ID and passwords for some clients. And you can manipulate the order and the placement, and you can add different things too. Like I added a time zone so that I know what time zone people are in when I'm talking to them. So you can add them and arrange them. You can't, but you have to stay within the 2-column format. Are there any functionalities that are in ACT that don't function in Zoho? I don't think so. I'd have to think about it, Rosalind, but I can't think of anything right now. There's nothing that I've missed at any rate. Is there a limit on the number of UDFs? I don't know what a UDF is. PDFs maybe. I don't think there's a limit. There's not a limit to anything. This past week I imported, I think something like in one database 500, no, must be 30,000 or 50,000 contacts and 100 and something thousand accounts. It's very open. I have one client that has 120 users logged in with ACT, but I have other clients that are just a single user. It's pretty easy. The Campaigns tab, Campaigns is different here. What this is Campaigns is, these are like I'm planning on a campaign and I'm going to send out 2,500 people and I'm planning on spending this much money and I expect out of that 2,500 to get 100 things. It's more of a collection of marketing kind of things. There is a separate app in Zoho where you can use it just like SwiftPage and you can send out campaigns. Once you send out a campaign like a newsletter, it automatically creates a campaign here so that you can see how many people clicked and opened. But that is a separate app outside of the Zoho CRM, same way SwiftPage is separate. The list, the leads, there is a web forms built in where you can, I have a Zoho Tips web form, I have some other forms, a Zoho trial form, and once someone fills out those forms on the website, it auto-populates into this list on the in the database, which is really nice. The pricing, there is a free version for 3 people. It is up to and you can use it forever for 3 people. If you want to do more, you have to pay, and or if you want more advanced features. If you go to my website, there is a link to pricing and comparisons. It pulls up a PDF that you can look at all of the features and where you need to go. But generally speaking, it's as cheap as $12, and as expensive as $35 is the most expensive that you'll get from the Zoho CRM. The quotes and purchase orders are easy to set up and customize for your business. Yeah, they are. The only thing that sometimes it does require that makes it a little bit more difficult is sometimes the layout, I'd like for it to look a little differently, and it helps if you have HTML experience or you know somebody who has HTML, because a lot of that is controlled, like the column width and some things like that. But yes, the answer is you definitely can customize and add logos and stuff like that. The email marketing programs, it works beautifully with it. It depends. The Zoho Campaigns is the app that it works with, but there are other email marketing programs that it'll integrate with Constant Contact and other things as well. So it just depends on what you're working, but I kind of like the Zoho Campaigns. It's built in and it's pretty darn cheap. Zoho does not interface with Microsoft Access. But however, you could take the reports, and there's an advanced CRM analytics, and you could compare ACT to some other databases. Ted wants to know if I'm going to write a quick study guide for Zoho. And you know, I've thought about it, Ted, but here's the problem. Zoho is constantly upgrading and making changes. It's not like ACT where it was static for a year and I didn't have to worry about things changing. So I think what we're going to do instead is we're going to write modules, little bitty modules, and we'll probably do a lot of videos, because I really think that's also where the market's going. I don't think people want to read anymore. I think they want to see videos. I can pretty much, somebody asked about converting a Mac Daylight database. You can pretty much convert anything. I have problems with an Insightly database this week, only because you can't get stuff out of Insightly. You can't get, like, who wrote the note, which was kind of a shame because they had a lot of stuff in there. But you can convert almost anything into Zoho. If you can get it out, we can convert it. The issue is more about getting it out. And of course, like I said, it can link to your website contact forms. It works beautifully with Chrome. Chrome is my browser of choice as well, Jim. I don't know. I know I've looked up Sage 100, so we'll just do this again. We'll do Sage 100, and does it integrate with Zoho? And so, yeah, here's somebody who says Sage 100 Zoho integration. So I'm going to say yes, there is somebody who's working it. You just want to kind of find out what is the integration and what do you want out of the integration. Yes, you can still write letters. I actually, if I wanted to write, let me go back to Lance here. If I wanted to go back to Lance and say mail merge. Oh, sorry, I can't mail merge. I don't write letters to clients. But let me write one. to leads, but I can write a letter to a contact, and I could do it in Word or Zoho Writer. I just happen to like Zoho Writer. So I've got, let's say when somebody says, I need an NDA from you, I can quickly do it, and all I have to do is print this out in a PDA format and automatically email it to somebody. So yes, the answer is yes, you can. Gosh darn, you guys are giving me the questions for sure. Can groups have subgroups? No, you don't need subgroups. If I look here, you can create as many groups as you want. I'm not going to show you the groups, but you can see here's my things that came in from QuickBooks. Here's my contacts in Texas. I try to keep my list so that it doesn't mean anything to anybody else. But you have all kinds of lists, and it's very easy to create the list. So you just create a new list. You don't need top-line dash in Zoho because the reports are so easy. So if I click here on potentials by type and I want to customize it, I just change which columns. I want to group it by the owner, potential name, potential, let's see, created by. I tell it which columns I want to total. I tell it, either I pick a closing date or it's not closed yet. You pick everything and then you run the report. It's very, very simple. You don't need top-line dash. It's easier to use. Yes, you cannot add, somebody asked about pick lists. You cannot create pick lists on the fly. That is a different, okay, so somebody asked about what I miss about ACT. That would be a thing I miss. If you set up a drop-down, and let's say here is a drop-down right here. If I wanted to put in QuoteWorks, I cannot put in something that's not in the list. I would have to go and add it to the drop-down. The adding to the drop-down is very easy. Only admins can do it. But that part is very easy to do, but it does not let you either use drop-downs or you don't use drop-downs. It definitely enforces the drop-downs. Can I use the contact list as my phone contact list? I don't understand that. I mean, you can create a contact list if you like and use it for looking at phones. So I think that you can. Somebody says it's time for Chris Huffman to retire. And yeah, I would appreciate it. You can buy, well, I don't resell it, but I do get credit for signing up users. So I'd appreciate it if you sign up, letting me know that you did sign up. The trial period is forever, Marcy. So if you want to sign up and you just want to play with it, you can sign up for the Enterprise or Professional Edition for 15 days, and then you can see what the features are. And then after that, it just reverts to the free version, and you can keep the free version forever if you like. And then when you're ready to upgrade, you just you put in your credit card, and they take care of it for you. The cost is, like I say, between $12 and $35. Most people most of my clients are in the Professional Edition, which is $20 per user per month. There is no data loss if you're migrating from ACT to Zoho. Generally, the conversion time is 24 hours for us. So you really are not having a big downtime, I don't think. No, Chris, I don't have any videos about Zoho yet, but we're working. I've got actually one video. It's on our website, but it's talking about why we like Zoho as far as instead of educational videos. So Francois says that the activities don't seem to be chronological, but I think they are. I'm not really sure. Mine are always done by chronology. Let me just go look at Lindsay here. If I look at closed activities, it could be if it's an event, it's here because that means there was a time of day. This was a to-do. So yeah, I see what you're saying, but it's very easy to just quickly click on the start date time if you like. to find different things. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. Conrad says he uses 3 or 4 databases that have overlapping. Yeah, you can merge them. There are features in the contact list view where there are tools, depending on what version. You can dedupe contacts or you can dedupe them one at a time. A lot of that's done on merging, though, I think. It's just a matter of getting the data together. Can you get stuff out of? Yes, you have totally control of getting out. There's an export where you can manually do it, or you can just have a data backup. And it says a fee of $10 will be charged for every backup, but you're allowed 1 backup a month at no charge. And you're welcome to have those backups. It has everything that you want if you want to move to another system. The languages actually are quite a few that are available. I know it's in French. I'm pretty sure it's in German, but you would have to, again, that would be a good question to just do a Google search on. Mitch, he asked what is the cost to export the data from Zoho. The cost is nothing to export from Zoho, at least one time. At the most, it'd be $10. And it's totally user-driven. You just click the OK, and it comes to you in an email where you can download it. So you don't even have to deal with somebody who won't give you your data. It comes in like 30 minutes or less. There is a project management feature. I actually use the project management in Zoho. It depends on how much you want. So I have, here are my projects and potentials, but you can keep them anyway. If you're wanting a Gantt chart kind of thing, that's a separate Zoho app. It's called projects.zoho.com. You can go look at that, Bob, and see if that works for what you're looking for. Yes, you can build custom tables. In fact, you can build total custom functions that don't even use Zoho CRM if you want. They're very, very, very flexible. You do have to use their language to do it, but it's a learning curve. But there are plenty of people out there that know the language. Or I think, Jason, you're talking about not getting data out, but getting data in. No, you can. If you've gotten the data out, it's pretty easy to get it in. You just migrate them in, or you can import. I wasn't going to talk about Zoho Recruit, which is Shirley asked about. It's basically like Zoho CRM, but it has a little bit of a twist on it, and it's mostly focused on recruiters. So it's actually a pretty nice database. So you might look at it, but no, I wasn't going to talk about it in particular. And of course, as I said, the recording will be coming to you tomorrow. So you're welcome to view the recording when you get the link tomorrow. And of course, somebody asked finally, can you schedule repeated appointments and tasks in Zoho? That is very easy as always. If I just click here and add a new event, it's just, let's say I'll just do it for Friday at 7 a.m. and it's a recurring activity. And it starts, it's weekly, every Friday. You can see it's every week. It's very similar to what you would do for any activity. So I'm going to cancel out of this. But it's very easy to create. So no problem, Shirley. How many custom fields? There is a limit, Mitch. It's actually pretty generous, but mostly the only time I've ever run up against it is date fields in potentials. There's a limit to how many date fields, but that's actually in the, if you go to the website, that's on my website, zcrmhelp.com, you can find some information there about what the limits are. It also depends on what version you're coming from as well. Timeless activities are tasks, and that's exactly what a timeless activity is. So I can always go look at my activities and look at what's today, what's past due. So you can have things that don't have a start date time. It can be just strictly tasks if you want. So the answer is yes, it really likes those very well. there are really not any vertical industry templates other than the Recruit. Everything else is you just do it on setup there. It's pretty easy to customize to exactly whatever you want. So I've actually kind of gone way over, but I'm hoping that you found these questions and answers helpful. I think I've answered all of them. As always, if there's anything I could do, I am so glad to work with you in any way in helping you get to any other CRM or to keep the one that you've got. Hope you have a really, really great summer, and I will see you hopefully after I come back from San Francisco.